Welcome back to the Overwatch Open. We are about to kick off Group B, which has 4 brand new teams for you guys to check out. Lots more action. I can't believe we're only at the halfway point of the day, but joining us back on the desk, we are lucky enough to have Goldenboy, and as always, I am joined by Chris Hook Loranger. Am I saying that right?
Close enough.
Good. It's been years. I'll get it right one year.
Loranger. I just say Loranger.
Loranger.
I don't even bother.
Whatever,
you
it's
know.
fine.
You guys, put a little effort into the pronunciation, Goldenboy.
Nah.
All right.
I
You
love
know
you, buddy.
what? Let's jump right into it with our 2 teams. We're going to see Rogue and ANOX face off in this first matchup for Group B. Rogue just coming off a win at the Overwatch Atlantic Showdown, looking fantastic. What can you tell me about them, boys?
Look at this picture. He's not that tall, people, just to make sure.
No, you're
yeah,
lying.
that's accurate.
He is a mountain of a man, okay? This man is so...
That's why he's here. He's going to play here, and then he's going to go over to the
love how
TNT
Tivik is
studio, play a
completely
little
blocked
basketball.
I have an Apple box, Malik, if you need one.
I think like someone should just give him a contract for the NBA, just sign him.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, they were able to do it with Yao Ming, just had him stand there and block people, so maybe not just get this
Don't
dude.
give him any ideas. We need him behind that Reinforce.
Nice,
Reinhardt shield.
Ryan Hart.
Reinforce, Reinforce. This guy goes by a lot of names, but he is exceptionally skilled. So what's he bringing to the team here today?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, he was the point of a lot of discussion going into the Atlantic Showdown, right? A lot of people were talking about the aggressive tank play that Reinforce was doing, whether or not it was the good move, the bad move, you know. And personally, I actually thought it was quite refreshing to see that aggression come out there. Maybe it didn't work out all the time for Rogue, but certainly panned out well because they ended up winning that bad boy. So I'm going to imagine Rogue are the favorites in this group.
All right, and how do we feel like they're going to stack up against ANOX? ANOX has a deep history of skill, but as far as their mark in the Overwatch scene, they've yet to make a kind of huge footprint yet.
Yeah, they've kind of struggled with consistency. That's been their biggest problem. Sometimes they can lose and not even get top 8, and then sometimes they go for a very deep run. Even among their squad, Shadowburn, a person we were just talking about, he used to be on that squad, and since he left, they did get better results, but obviously he's a talent. He's working well with FaZe, so you know there's all these question marks around these teams. One thing that is true without a doubt is they have a couple of legends on their team, and these 2 Quake players, you know, Cypher, Cooler, they've been great players throughout their careers, but even in their boot camp, it's a big question mark for a lot of people, like who do they play with? Who do they practice with? As far as I know, they had no strong partnerships with any team. And at the same time, they had visa issues. Apparently, they missed a whole month of practice because they had visa issues.
That's rough.
And that's rough, too. And then we add the fact that, you know, it's been a long day already. You're coming in here from EU. Sure, they've had a couple of days, but there's got to be that effect. We talked about Too Easy. You only had 1 hour of sleep. So there's a lot of question marks around these teams. And then you look at Rogue, and there's not a question mark. There's an exclamation mark. And they're a strong, strong team. So it's going to be tough for them for sure.
It's a good transition, man. They should give you a medal.
Thank
Honestly.
you.
Just
Wow.
Like, not a question mark, it's an exclamation mark. I don't know.
I don't have that voice, but try to do what I can.
I got you, baby girl.
Well, thank you guys so much for the insight from both of you. We had Malik speak to Reinforce earlier today. Let's hear what he had to say.
Thank you very much, guys. Reinforce, I have to say, man, you are hulking over me right now. You're a tall guy. How tall are you?
I'm 6'7", yeah.
6'7". Why Overwatch and not the NBA, man?
Well, I would have played in the NBA if I didn't have bad knees, so I got to settle for Reinhardt, man.
Okay.
Strong guy.
That is right. That is right. As a matter of fact, you're pretty well known for your Reinhardt and your tank play. Would you say Reinhardt's your favorite, though?
Yeah, Reinhardt is by far my favorite. He feels underutilized, to me at least, by most guys in the scene. So I really want to bring something else to the table with my Reinhardt play.
Yeah. How do you feel about the current meta now kind of changing and like Honor, for instance, nano boosting more so Reapers than Reinhardts? Does that kind of get you a little bit annoyed?
No, not really. I mean, I enjoyed my time in scrims and in matches when I got the nano boost, but you know, everything's for the winning, and if we can nano boost a Reaper and do better, you know, then I'm all for it.
Excellent, man. All right, so moving forward, you guys have ANOX today. What's kind of the mindset of your team? You guys been preparing pretty well for these guys?
No, not really. We're not really prepared for anyone in our group because we didn't scream anyone in the Europe side of any of the European teams.
Oh, wow.
So we don't really know what they're going to bring to the table, but we just have to be confident in our game, really, and do our best.
Right. Do you guys feel like there's a target on your back, being that you've prepared so much, and not only that, you kind of made a name for yourself at the Atlantic Showdown?
Yeah, we really do feel like we have a target on our back, yeah. So, I mean, I think we play better, you know, that we know we have to perform, and we have a target on our back, so we enjoy it.
Okay, cool. Well, I want to give the camera crew a little bit of a break because they're having to lift the camera up a little too high just to keep up with our heights. So we're going to send it back to the desk. You guys, take it away.
What a nice guy. And honestly, one of the reasons I'm such a big fan of Reinforce, oh my gosh, that is perfect. Let's all take a moment and appreciate Reinforce's Reinhardt there.
So shiny.
It's very shiny.
That's
His
awesome.
jersey looks fantastic. The Rogue jerseys look so nice.
Very
I know.
unique.
I
Very
know,
unique.
it's so fashionable. They have the latest fall fashions coming into this.
So hot right now.
It's so hot.
Well, I was going to say, the other reason I love Reinforce, he comes from a background of esports production and like
Yes.
working behind the scenes.
Really?
So he's sort of like our boy in the fight,
He
right?
understands our struggles behind the scenes and everything.
Yeah.
I even talked to him about it yesterday. He, as you mentioned earlier, he's a little bit of a controversial figure. Some people said, he did a really good job. I was one of the ones that were a little bit more critical of him. But I definitely agree with this controversy. I think they do have a target on their back. I know personally there was a little Twitter banter going on before this event saying that they couldn't get EU
Fresh
scrims even though
bans?
they wanted to. Yeah, so are people like saying we're not going to play with these guys? We don't want them to be prepared. We see them as like the #1 top dogs, which is usually EnvyUs. And EnvyUs got a partnership. It's still up in the air.
I know talking to Envy the other day, they want Rogue again. So
they're hungry for blood.
They're hungry. They want it. They want it. It's also funny, too, just to kind of iterate on some of these players here. I remember casting over AKM and Wins in Shootmania of all games.
Wow.
With my boy Ash Joshi.
At IPL?
Yes, at IPL. So actually, these guys, they were super talented then, and I'm expecting them to be equally as talented now. They've shown it already, winning the Atlantic Showdown. The sky's the limit.
All right, well, we got our maps here for the first matchup. It's going to be Kings Row, Dorado, and Lijiang Tower. Of course, Kings Row is our guaranteed first, and then our loser gets to choose our next map, so it could be either one. Guys, what do you think of this map pool for Rogue and ANOX? I mean, obviously we know Rogue very well. We know what they like to play on,
Yeah.
so let's start with them.
I think any way you look at it, any maps, as long as they're not too CP or very unusual, they're going to favor Rogue. It doesn't even matter if they're super strong on them or they're okay on them. I feel like unless I saw Volskaya, Anubis, something strange, then I'm just always going to give them the lead.
Yeah, Kings Row, I just got to toss it over to Rogue, right?
Yeah.
To open things up, that is a great map. And for Rogue, I mean, this is where a guy like Reinforce is going to shine, right? He's going to be the one that's on the entry, pushing forward with the Reinhardt, opening up the opportunities for his teammates. Earth Shatters are going to come and play a huge role here. So Reinforce 100% is going to be a player to look out for. But let's not forget about our DPS guys, Tivik and AKM, because given the opportunity, they can disrupt and cause a lot of problems. So I think that this Rogue team is looking strong in this.
Yeah, I know Huck and I both had a chance to interview a bunch of these players before, and one of the questions that we asked a lot of them was, who is the best DPS? And I was astounded how many people they said Tivik.
Yeah. I think they say too, Twig is their name in European, which is like
Twig?
the weirdest thing. Like you would look at that name and not see it, but
Please
yeah.
tell me it's not Twig.
I swear to God, I think I heard
Tivik
Twig.
sounds so cool,
Yeah.
but if I hear like Twig, I just
You
think
just
like
look at him like he's easy to break or something. Yeah, he's like
I
very
just-
fragile.
Well, we know that ain't true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I just think of like a tiny little, what was that guy from Guardians of the Galaxy again?
Groot?
The Groot,
Groot.
yeah, the little baby
The
Groot.
little Groot. Oh, you
Yeah.
just spoiled so much.
Yeah, I know.
That's okay.
It's
You
been
haven't
out
seen
for a
it by
while.
now.
It's been out for a while.
It's been out a
Oh,
long
man.
time.
There's
if
that
you
handsome
don't
guy.
know the movie by now, that's it. It's done.
There's Twig.
Twig. Look at him. Oh, goodness.
If only he could hear us now.
Yeah, thank God he can. Thank God.
Well, this has
Beat
been
me up.
this has been a big tournament for teams that have brought unexpected stuff to the table. They've been unpredictable. That's been a huge advantage for a lot of these teams coming into these matchups. So, without speculating too much, what do we know about what ANOX is most comfortable bringing to these sorts of high-level tournaments?
I think they have experience in a certain degree. They have experience within 2 or 3 of their players that have been in other scenes, have done really well. But as far as Overwatch experience, they don't have as much as Rogue. Rogue's been on that big stage. They've been at Gamescom. I hate to keep bringing it back to Rogue, saying, this is it. But truthfully, they're the underdogs, and I'm not afraid to say that. They got a mountain to climb here.
But if I'm correct, though, ANOX came out winning from the Overwatch Open, the open stages, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Rogue did lose. And they came out of that loser section, too. So theoretically, ANOX is coming in as like the quote-unquote higher seed, so to speak. Of course, if you're ANOX and you're going to face off against Rogue, you know that the challenge is going to be in front of you, because if there is a team that can perform on LAN or on a live event environment, especially if we talk about TBS with the crowd and everything like that, it's those guys over there. It's Rogue. They could definitely show up. So there is a lot of question marks for sure for ANOX, but it's going to be exciting.
All right, well, we have actually a quick little video about supports for you guys to check out. Let us know what you think, and you can use that hashtag OWOpen to tell us.
Always ready to help, here are your support. Anna's biotic rifle shoots darts that can restore health to her allies or deal ongoing damage to her enemies. Lucio plays music to energize his team. One song amplifies movement speed, while the other regenerates health. Mercy uses energy beams to either restore an ally's health or increase the amount of damage they deal. Zenyatta casts orbs to either restore health to an ally or amplify the amount of damage enemies receive. Symmetra bends light with her photon projector to shield her teammates and deploys turrets and teleporters. Support.
Yeah, well, we're on the topic of support. There's Cooler. That handsome man right there is a former Quake professional player and a current Lucio professional player for his team. Also the shot caller. Also just a really general, all-around good dude.
Yeah, and you know what? Shout out for the old guys.
Yeah,
you know
I didn't want to say anything, but
I'll take the heat, man. I think it's awesome, right? Like, come on. You know, they always say like you're done after a certain point in time. You know, like 22, 23, or whatever like that. I mean, I quit forever ago when I was competing in Call of Duty. So, you know, shout out to this guy.
it was actually funny. We had an open discussion backstage about that right before this match, saying like, is there a threshold? Because there's always that debate, and I feel like most people there, and we're all esports people, there isn't. You know, it just comes like you got life comes up, you got bills to pay, you got family, you start raising a kid, whatever. But if you can game, you can game, and he's got the experience to back it up. Those are the two players, Cooler and Cypher, that we come back to and say like they can really lead a team.
Well, and that's exactly the situation Cooler is in. I asked him, what do you think about before the match? What do you do to get in your headspace? And he's like, I think about my wife and my child and everything that I'm fighting for. And he's very serious. And so, it wasn't any sort of levity in the conversation. It was like, oh, this man is going to war for his family every time he sits down on this computer.
And I mean, as a married man, one of the only married people up here.
Wow.
Actually, besides Anders.
Brag it up.
Brag it up. I've been at this bad boy for like 8 years now, right? And, it's going okay. But that's just the mentality you have to have. I quit competing to focus on my marriage, right? That was important to me. So for a guy like Cooler, who kept going and is now back into the fray again, it takes a lot out of you.
Yes.
So I really do.
You're still talking about your family and stuff, because we got
credit.
Matches to play, all right? Why don't you just give me your predictions, and I'll give Cynthia props later for the wonderful husband you've become.
Thanks. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to go with Rogue 2-0.
Strong. What about you, Huck?
I'm so scared. I'm playing like Minesweeper over here with predictions. It's horrible. I'm going to go with Rogue 2-0.
All right, let's see who's correct and who is going to get a big surprise. Let's hope it over to our casters. We got ZP and Anders.
Thank you so much, Rachel. We are ready indeed. Everybody on the desk predicting Rogue CP. Are you going to be the one going Rogue here and going for a different prediction?
So, going on history, I have to go for Rogue, but I feel like that's so incredibly dangerous to say that ANOX is going to come out and win this 2-1. But my prediction is still Rogue. We'll see how it pans out. But today has truly been the day of upsets and parity. I'm just excited. King's Row, let's get going.
Yes, indeed, and it will be ANOX starting off on the offensive side, and Rogue with a defensive play already. The Mei Ice Wall coming up there, trying to segment the play. It's always a good idea to try for something like that. Kenzie spamming those arrows in the back line, trying to see if they get anything done. Quirico already going down to Vic, dying to Kenzie, actually, so a bit of a trade.
Well, it's a big trade because that's a Mei going down. There will be no more Mei games. There will be no more walls, and this is a big opportunity for ANOX as they move it forward. Dragon Strike can be on the menu here in just a moment, and ANOX, this is good. This is 65. They don't have to worry about the Mei, and the Dragon Strike is about to create a whole lot of space.
Yeah, he's just waiting for it. Split arrow there. He's going to put it right for the statue. Dragon Strike coming on through. And actually, he's pushing them back. He's going to get the kill. It's one in the background. Unco going down, and now things are looking real rough here for Rogue. They're losing a lot of players early on. Just a couple left on the point to try and stay alive. But look at ANOX actually being incredibly patient. They're not just rushing onto this point. They're trying to take the fight without losing anybody else before the backup comes in here. Cypher going to be making his way around the back. He misses the hook, but he's almost at ult. Another shot coming. No, he's not going to get it. AKM taking him down.
This is really good stall delay coming out by Rogue. Normally, most teams would have folded here. And ANOX not able to seal the deal, but I will say Kenzie is incredibly good. He's been impressing me more and more as time has gone on. ANOX still not able to get the point yet, but his impact here on a Hanzo, no less, has been impressive just what he's done. Usually you see him on a really good Tracer or something like that, but Hanzo play doing work, and ANOX slowly but surely bullying Rogue off the point.
Well, he's got the Dragon Strike up again, and he's going to go straight for it. That forces them back while the point is being capped. They can't really make it around their corner. They have to wait. Now that it's finally gone, they're going to run into Cypher. They will be able to take him out. They're 2/3 of the way there. Now, finally, the Zarya ult coming up on top of AKM, who's got that nano boost. How much longer can he stay alive? The answer is just another second cooler to take him down. The point is capped for ANOX. I feel like that was a great play here for the ANOX team.
It was good play, but it was also good on Rogue to stall out what was a losing fight for that long. One interesting thing I really got to note here is that you're seeing Graviton Surge and Earthshatter being used more and more as the anti-nano boost, where nano boost comes in, teams are perfectly willing to throw out these big tank ults just to counter that, and it actually works out. It stopped AKM from having his big hero moment.
Just love the idea that there's so many Quake players playing this game. I want someone to get strengths out of retirement. It's going to be a little bit of a Graviton ultimate coming out there, but not really doing too much here. Just a quick trade, but a little bit tricky now for ANOX. They have lost 3 players in a row. Finally, Cypher able to answer back, but it is not enough. So that actually is a fairly quick stoppage for Rogue, like directly after the payload has come out.
It's good from Rogue to get the stop there, but on the same note, ANOX, they're not really that far away from the payload. This is a very quick respawn time, so I feel like from the ANOX perspective, Rogue is going to go in, drop Graviton and Earthshatter there, and you can get out of that without dropping ults your own. I almost feel like that's okay for ANOX. Like, that is an okay team wipe to take. They're going to be able to go forward here. Shriek's going to have a Earthshatter of his own, and we'll see what happens. One problem for Rogue, though, is that there will have the Blizzard up here for ANOX, and Blizzard is really effective on streets.
Interesting to see Kenzie swapping into the McCree. You saw how close he was to landing the flashbang there, but the Wraithform came out on the enemy Reaper just in time. High noon, not really going to do too much, but a good flashbang followed up with a headshot there. A little bit of help. They are doing a really good job right now. ANOX trying to see if they can make it on through. They don't have any ultimates up right now, whereas Unco does have his nano boost ready, but no targets to actually nano boosts, and it's going to be the end of him. Reinforce also going down there to Shriek.
ANOX, they're playing very patiently in how they're handling this. Again, they ate the 2 ults from Rogue, went in, just went for good solid mechanical play, and it's working out. And Kenzie, again, a standout player here for ANOX. A lot of people look at Cypher and his crazy DPS play, but going to the next fight, they're going to have Sound Barrier up, and I would take Sound Barrier over Nano Boost of the 2. Reinforce is going to be looking for the Miracle Earthshatter here, but ANOX is very well positioned.
See if they could do this. Tariq going down. The Mei already out such a big character. And Unco next in line. It is looking solid for Kenzie. So he swaps out of the Hanzo and he's still doing so much work. And this is just going to be the second point capped immediately here for ANOX. They're setting a pretty good time, aren't they?
ANOX is doing super well here, and this is one of those cases where if today is the day of upsets, ANOX is proving it right now. They're going through King's Row pretty darn quickly, and let's take a look at Cypher. He wants to have the dagger drop right behind. He is well positioned. Rogue has to watch out. Cypher, are you going in? The ground time is coming in here. And Cypher's waiting. He's hoping there's a defensive volley. He drops right in. Absolute carnage. A triple kill from Cypher opens Rogue right up.
They did not have the sound barrier on Nox, then they couldn't actually stop that from happening. Unbelievable play coming out right now, and ANOX gonna continue here. 4 people pushing on it right now, just riding that to the end to see if they can. Obviously now the respawns are coming in from Rogue, and we'll see how long they can hold on for.
I almost think that was a case where they wiped it out so quickly. The Rogue came right back in, but here comes Shriek. Nano boost on the way. Rolling right in, swinging his hammer. Reinforces down as a result of that 2. Now 3 kills about to be out here from the side of ANOX. Ana barely getting away with her life. And a Blizzard comes down, but I don't think it's enough as Zarya takes the slow ride to the wall. But Tariq actually fighting this back a little bit towards the end. Wonder if ANOX overextended just a bit in the middle of that.
It's really hard to tell as you're following Shriek. There was a great charge that he had going back into Zarya. That looked impressive, but it wasn't enough. so they will reset ever so slightly. Sharik has his ult, and Rubicon has his too. Just reinforced on the other team with his, and that's a great double kill coming in from Kenzie. Flashbang to follow it up, nearly gets reinforced and will eventually drop him. Kenzie just getting so many kills in all of these fights, it seems. He's looking for more. He's got the flashbang up, so he could definitely use that as well, but he's not even going to need takedown wins, and this is looking tough for Rogue.
Kenzie's power level just keeps going up as time goes on, and ANOX right now with momentum, dropping the sound barrier, looking to just mop up the Rogue reinforcements. Cypher, Death Blossom out, takes down Tavik, does a whole lot to AKM in the process. AKM though, still alive, still fighting. Both teams trying out the Graviton Surge at the last moment, coming up by wins, helping a bit, but it's Cypher with the bit of cleanup here.
He's just been hiding in the back lines. He's still alive, but he's taking a hell of a lot of damage right now, and he ends up going down. It's right on there. Another second and it would have been, but it's not going to happen.
So Rogue able to use respawn to their advantage there. ANOX, I think they might have blown their sound barrier a little bit too quickly there. They should have waited for Rogue to engage on them, then done the sound barrier. They went for the sound barrier first while Rogue was still a bit away, and I think that was probably the key problem in the fight. However, looking forward, Graviton Surge is on the ready, Anders.
And what stopped the payload in the beginning was actually a Mei play with the Ice Cube on top. But here comes the Graviton Surge out. Kenzie waiting, still got a couple of seconds left. A great double kill, taking down wins and reinforce. And he's looking for more. Kenzie, he's got to be the MVP right now. He's shrekking Rogue at the moment. They just need to push on to that final point. They're almost there, and they got 30 seconds left. But right now, he's having a really hard time finding any targets. Finally going to be taking out Nox, but Rogue actually playing really well defensively here, and they have 4 ultimates. They might be able to run down the clock.
Rogue definitely has an opportunity here. AKM is going to look to set them up. He is in that same position that Cypher was earlier. Nano boost out. Here comes AKM. Helicoptering down is immediately flashbanged by Kenzie. He stopped the carnage before it could start. AKM, though, still up and around, and the terror is not quite over yet, but it could have been so much worse.
Reinforced swinging that hammer in the background. He is out of teammates, though, and this is going to be real tough. He's trying to charge back here, and eventually goes to get the kill on Rubicon. That means they're going to be able to defend here. Just Rogue with an impressive stand right at the end. And ANOX, I guess, playing better than we were expecting. Really managing to push them to the limit.
I think the interesting thing about that is they did get to the last with 3.5 minutes, so they did have a chance of setting a pretty good time on King's Row. But going into that, even when Rogue was losing, Rogue was not losing easily. It wasn't a situation where they're just getting fully wiped out most of the time and letting the other team push in. They were losing slowly, and that's actually, I feel like, more than anything else, one of the marks of a really good Overwatch team right now. Because in Overwatch, you take a look at teams like LW Red, where maybe if they're getting out-DM'd, they go out of their way to just stall things out and win on time. They go for the war, not necessarily the battle.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective. We have seen some teams already just in the Overwatch Open here that have sort of, they go for one big risky fight, and when that fails, they suddenly lose, 2/3 of the map in almost one push, and then it gets really tough at the end. I just want to mention that detail again. It was very cool. Right when they were with the payload almost on the point where they were ready to cap it, Rogue brought up the Mei, and she just ice cubed in to stay alive, and then immediately afterwards, as soon as they won that fight, they swapped out of the Mei again. So it was like a 10-second swap into a Mei, and then that was all they needed.
You see that a lot towards the end, where there's heroes that are particularly good at stalling, and the 3 best heroes in that class, D.Va, Mei, Tracer. Those are the heroes that can be in and about. They're really hard to pin down, but they can still stay within realm of the payload to make things rough in terms of actually finishing out the game.
Now it's going to be ANOX playing on the defensive side, and Rogue getting a chance to see if they can just set a better pace here and maybe push past the mark that ANOX said. They didn't get it to the end, although it was close. So we'll see how this all unfolds. And a quick Hanzo early on for Tavik. It could change. Could just be the Sonic Arrow coming out.
We'll have to see. And Rogue, they're probably going to blitz in quicker than not. Tavik, very comfortable on this offensive Hanzo. One of the first people to really go for it. And oh my goodness, Mei is down already. Deja vu all over again. This time, though, it's Rogue on the offense. It's quicker. It's more of a blitz. And ANOX already in trouble here, Anders.
Look at how he's hunting with the bow and arrow. Just absolutely no respect here from Tavik, and he's gonna get it. I think he shot Sharik in the foot. That's just brutal. And he's going for more ANOX. They're already out at this point. How do they possibly get back in here? He's got the split arrow. They gotta be careful when they don't have a shield up right here. He's finally gonna be falling back there, and the ice barrier is put up, buying a little bit of time here, but Rogue, such a strong presence already on this point.
Rogue is in a great position here. Remember, the offense gets back in much quicker. Kenzie, though, is in the back line. He's doing some work. He's taking out 2, finds Tavik in the back, looks for it, but Nox bumps him up against the wall, punch him in the face, takes him out. But at the very least, for ANOX, they have bought themselves some degree of space here.
Tavik not electing to use his ultimate, just going to be trying to do some more damage to that shield with the split arrow. Not necessarily that bad. It looked to me like they were going to straight cap that point, but credit to ANOX for buying more time. That could be really valuable later on. If they lose that fight the first go around, who knows?
Buying an extra minute or so is incredibly valuable, or it could be more if they can win this next fight. But the next fight is underway. Nano boost coming out from both sides. AKM right to the back line. Death Blossom up, spins right into them. 2 quick kills here from AKM, looking for a little bit more, gets the triple, and moves it forward.
Yeah, Blizzard not really going to connect with too many people here. Cypher going out of it. AKM with a terrific attack there, helped by his teammates. Nano boosted in, and that is going to be it. They will get it, and in a respectable time as well.
It's not too bad from Rogue. Definitely have outs here to finishing out the map in full. They're going to have to wait for the payload to come up, and going to the Streets phase, it's somewhat of a reset. ANOX is going to have the defensive graviton, but that's about it. Rogue going to be a little bit low on ults, and they're playing very far up right now, Anders. A little bit risky.
Just spamming those arrows is Tavik. Trying to build that ult up a little bit, and they are going to have wins with the ult roughly at the same time, so they could set up for an interesting combo here.
The Graviton and Dragon Strike, super effective, but ANOX saying we're going to Graviton first. They put 2 people into that. Unco going to go down first. Cooler falling through, and ANOX, decent defensive man here in Streets phase, but oh, well, they're going for the counter combo. Right in is Tavik. The Dragon is sated, and Rogue striking right back.
They just waited. They let them use the Graviton on the ANOX side first. They slowly baited it out, and then they went for it. And that's going to give them the next point really quickly here.
And that was on a razor's edge because they had already lost people in that fight. A lot of teams will wait. Oh my goodness, AKM 99%. Ultimate about to be at the ready. He can drop right down. I don't think they realize he's there right now. This could be absolutely devastating for the next point. Here comes AKM, drops that back, nano boost in, spinning to the back line like a barbarian. A quad kill from AKM, gonna pick up 5 if he gets this McCree, finishing with the elbow.
That's so brutal, and we've seen that multiple times on King's Row. Teams misjudge that the fact that the Reaper could use the Shadow Step to get up that far. You think, surely the front line is much further back, and then it just isn't. And the fact that Onko had the nano boost up as well is just so good.
That was great, and Rogue making a lot of time. They have 4.5 minutes to finish out this map. Deadeye coming in from Kenzie, and hey, ANOX did lots of good Deadeyes going in here on the attack, but this is going to be a tough nut having to hold for another 4 minutes and 15 seconds.
Almost getting the arrow there. Tavik really playing this one well. They did use the speed boost to get the high noon up, but it wasn't enough. Kenzie gonna be going down. The ult is up for Tavik if he feels like using it, but so far he's just shooting him in the back right now, and ANOX finally putting up a pretty solid defense here. AKM coming in with 1 kill, but they're gonna try and fall back here, and I feel like Tavik not quite connecting with the kills. He's getting the hits, but he's just not actually on the same person.
It started out pretty well, and then he just was not getting the pickoffs, as you just mentioned. But he's still a presence up here, does have Dragon Strike at the ready. I think he's going to go for a raw Dragon Strike here in just a moment, just to zone out, but here comes ANOX. Graviton out, do they have the follow through? No, that quite worked out the way they were looking for. Rogue able to stay alive through all this, and AKM has Death Blossom at the ready. Could be looking to spin in just a moment. There it is, Nano Boost out. AKM to the back line, picks up 3 once more.
This is absolute madness. The success rate for AKM and that nano boost is just way, way, way too high, and Rogue gotta be making the push through. They will take the first map here on King's Row and push on through, as was predicted by pretty much everybody. But I must say, we could have gone into a second stage here if ANOX had just made it a little bit further.
ANOX was very close to having a very good time on King's Row. They did get stopped in the end by rather gutsy play by Rogue, but you see that very often with your most experienced teams in Overwatch, where they might be having a rough go of it, they might be getting a really quick time set on them, and then they dig deep, they find a way of restabilizing, and they turn the tables. And you even saw that on a micro level for Rogue. What happened in Streets phase there, where they're down 2 people and get the counter Wombo onto the other team, that's just huge.
Yeah, and it must be frustrating for ANOX just to have to try and deal with, you know, it's either the Zarya Hanzo combo, or it becomes the Ana and Reaper combo. So you know they sort of fell victim to both at separate times, and it's clearly hard to predict exactly which one's going to be coming up next.
Not only that, but they're also going back and forth, right? And let's take a look here. Speaking of those combos, AKM on display. Just good stuff all in all, and here it is. He backs out. This is Rogue backing out, and then goes right back in, right from the back. It's tricky, it's sneaky, and it caught ANOX off guard.
Now, in the beginning of both these halves, in fact, we saw the Hanzo being played early on, just try and sort of open up with a couple of kills. You pointed out that one of the first kills that happened was Mei going down. Kenzie played extremely well. That's just very effective. Is that something we can expect a lot on only King's Row or other maps too?
There's other maps that you can see the Hanzo opening on. There was a point where you saw it on Hollywood from time to time. It's just any map where you has a capture point early on and a really big pick and do stuff, it's huge. Especially in King's Row where it's so hard to reinforce it. Man, that combo coming up to be quite good.
Absolutely impressive, and we're seeing such a lot of hero diversity here, which is something that we weren't expecting. I mean, I didn't hear anybody mentioning Hanzo coming into this. If you did need, you know, someone, it would be like a defensive tank or something. It wouldn't be this kind of defense.
You don't see Hanzo as much in the wake of teams running 3-3 strats, but I think one thing what we've seen in this tournament, and 3-3 being, of course, 3 support, 3 tank, you don't see it quite as much because teams have been running so many counter strategies to it that I think that this meta is in a much healthier state than some teams might have been complaining about, because we've seen such variation. I think it's been great.
Yeah, absolutely enjoyable so far. Well, I mean, I'm interested to see how this next map is going to be coming up, but just as we're loading it in, we do have a couple of highlights for you guys in case you missed anything. And yeah, what do you think, ANOX? Were you expecting them to play this well? Did they do better than expected?
I wasn't expecting them to play as well as they did, so I would say they played better than expected. However, one thing about ANOX that's really been great for them is that you take a look at Kenzie. He has been on the rise recently. He had some truly standout moments, whether it be on the Hanzo with the early Mei pick, to great McCree play, to great Tracer play if he decides to bring that out. He's been a rising star for ANOX. I think he's had a big reason as to why ANOX has gone from barely top 8 team to a team that can give big games to the best of teams.
I mean, I feel like it would almost be sort of heresy if it didn't happen, just because you have Cooler and Cypher on that team. I mean, we don't talk so much about it, but that is, I mean, there's too much legend status on one team for that not to somehow work out.
The interesting thing when it comes to the Quake players is that they're probably the slowest growing part of Overwatch in terms of other games communities, where I think they're now selling in good places. Rafa on Team Liquid, of course, has been pretty darn successful, and Cooler and Cypher all doing better now on ANOX, but it took them a long time. They initially tried to make Quake super teams, and that didn't work out. You needed, in Overwatch in general, teams do better when they mix community with community rather than trying to copy-paste one game to another.
Yeah, and it's probably not an easy transition to make, especially because some of these people, I mean, they have obviously been sort of team modes in Quake, but I mean, the 1v1 mode's obviously the most prevalent one. So maybe just that adjustment playing 1v1 to 6v6, maybe a little bit different. And Lijiang Tower is going to be the second map that we'll be seeing here. But like I said, I'd be excited, I'd be hyped if Strengths came and played Overwatch. That'd be fun.
That would be great. And going into Lijiang here, this is a case where I understand why ANOX brought us here. There was a point where the teams with a lot of Quake players really did prefer your control point maps, and why? It makes sense. Is there maps that are much more brawly? There are maps that include very quick fights back and forth, a little bit more focused on mechanical skill. I think it's going to be a place where Kenzie wants to get onto his Tracer and wants to just run circles around Rogue. Going to be difficult given Rogue has AKM, one of the best McCrees in the game, one of the best Tracers should he do it, and Tavik, who can go wild on Genji and a whole slew of other heroes. But for ANOX, it makes sense.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're ready for it. We certainly are ready for it. This can get very chaotic on these control point maps. You've got to expect that some of the fights can be almost without stop. So we'll see who comes out on top. So far, it is 1-0 in favor of Rogue, who are by far and away the favorites. Maybe not just here, but maybe for at least making it to the grand finals.
There's a lot of expectations on Rogue, and especially now that REUNITED is out, if there's any sense in the world, you kind of think, okay, Rogue, are you going to go the distance here? They're definitely a favorite. We'll see if they're able to do it. And this is interesting here, where they're actually putting AKM on the Reaper, Tavik on the Tracer. Tavik, of course, can play anything, but interesting switch up from Rogue. They haven't always broken things down this way.
Quite aggressive early on from Reinforced, jumping in on the Winston, trying to put some pressure on ANOX early on. Cypher jumping around there with the Genji, doing a little bit of damage, and in the back lines, a lot of supports to be found. Tavik will have taken down Rubicon already, and now they're trading back and forth. It looks like ANOX is actually coming out on top. It's a double kill for Cypher, and he's done a lot of damage here, just getting that to work for himself. And finally, he's going to be going down. Tavik with 2 good kills in return. It looked like ANOX had the advantage for a while.
ANOX was doing very, very well. Kenzie was able to go around from the back, did all sorts of damage to set things up. That's why he had the Pulse Bomb up so quickly. Just used it, didn't get a whole lot of value from it. And it's Rogue really pulling it back. A good play in Tavik to do that, but he's going to go down immediately to a knock. And here comes ANOX, rushing right back in, 2 quick kills. And AKM getting just knocked right off the ledge. Cooler helping him to his demise. And ANOX fighting right back, Anders.
What a way to go. Had to leave the map earlier than he was expecting. Now they're fighting, trying to see if they can take that Winston out. They do have ults to do it with, but they don't want to waste them. Now Cypher going to be coming in. Dragonblade out. He only gets 1 kill. What a quick reset there from Rogue. Can they fight back in and take the point? It really hasn't taken that much in ANOX's favor yet, so there's still plenty of time right here.
Tavik right now moving to the back line. The fight has gotten less and less here in terms of players, and this is where Tracer can really shine, gets the kills he's looking for, and meanwhile, it sets up AKM. AKM was in the back, got the triple kill. That was no Deadeye. That was pure Peacemaker shots.
Unbelievable, but it did put him practically on a Deadeye. He's at 100% now, so a little bit scary to give him that much, and you got to be careful. How can they zone him out, though? He's being really well protected right now.
He's just sitting in the back, and this is where AKM does a lot of work. As McCree, one of the best in the business. Here comes Graviton. Happy little skulls coming right up. Picks up the double kill as a result, and ANOX gonna have to back out here.
God, that's 5 kills in the space of about 45 seconds there for AKM, so very impressive, and he's following up on more, taking out Cooler. Suddenly, it is looking fantastic for Rogue and ANOX. I feel like they had some opportunities here, but it's looking really rough right now. Ult is roughly even across the 2 teams, though.
Sharik is going to be looking for the big Graviton here. There's some cool Gravitons you can do on this map, more on the defense side, and Sharik moving right in to start things out. Graviton is out, pulls in 3. Kenzie with the fall through. Bomb is out. 3 people are down, and Kenzie with the combo of Sharik going to let ANOX recapture the point once more.
And that looked like textbook play, that combo. We talk about it so much, and even though it seems like it should be relatively easy to hit, it definitely isn't always. They're going to take care of Tavik as well, and that will finally cap them the point back in their favor at about 40-70% here. I mean, this is not so bad. ANOX can make this back.
They absolutely can make this back. They only have to win about 3 fights here to win this map, so they can do this, especially with Defender's advantage. Rogue cannot rest on their laurels, and Reinforce a little bit too far over. Taken out by Kenzie. Here comes Cypher. Dragonblade unleashed, looking for targets. Only 3 seconds left. It's no longer 8 magic seconds, and doesn't get as much as he's looking for. However, Rogue kind of discombobulated themselves.
Yeah, just looking a little bit confused there in that fight, and a good reset here. And that's one of the 3 fights you were talking about. They're almost tied in percentage here. Kenzie has his ultimate. Rubicon not far of having his either. They've got a lot of defensive ults coming online here, ANOX.
They do, and this could work out very, very well for them. The Sound Bearer perhaps the most important, but it is going to be Sound Bearer v Sound Bearer. Rogue has the advantage. Ultimates are online, and they're moving forward. Wids gonna drop the Graviton, gets at least 2 people in. Bomb is out once more. Tavik takes down Sharik. Rogue, though, they've used a lot of ults only for 1 kill. The Transcendence kind of stymieing this. ANOX is handling this pretty well, but it might not be enough.
AKM now getting the headshots in. He's already got 2 kills and looking for more. And are they going to try it? The flashbang in. Just no welcome there for Kenzie. He is not invited to the party. They stop at 96%. And now I would be very worried if I was ANOX.
This right now is going to come down to the next fight, but here's the upside for ANOX. They still have their sound barrier. They saved it. That was remarkably smart. They're going to open up with the sound barrier, and AKM, he's going to look for the quick pick off before it happens. Doesn't have it yet. Coming up, Snake Eyes is AKM, but he is able to take down Shriek at the very end. Cooler, still holding on to his sound barrier. He's going to drop the beat, and here comes ANOX in a great position.
It really looked like Rogue might have overextended, and the Dragon Blade going to be coming out from Cypher as well. Just slice and dice, taking out Reinforce, looking for more. Tavik is going to be next in line, and now overtime ticking down here. Rogue, what could they do? Can they actually recap this? ANOX going to be picking it up, and there's no one nearby for Rogue. Finally, it came coming in, but he is not the kind of player who can keep that point alive. That's going to be the first point going in favor of ANOX. I wondered, when they were up at like 90-some% there, if they didn't overextend. It looked like they went to fight ANOX at the sort of the main entrance.
They did, and I think I understand Rogue's reasoning for doing that, is that teams are pretty good about keeping track of ults. They knew they weren't going to have sound barrier in the next fight. They knew that ANOX was going to, and in this map in particular, it's very hard to win a fight, sound barrier versus no sound barrier, if you don't have another supporting ult to sort of negate things. So I think from their perspective, throwing out the boost on McCree, where a damage boosted headshot can do so much to immediately chunk down a hero, I think their method of their madness was, we're going to throw AKM out there, we're going to hope he gets one pickoff, because if you get the early pickoff, then you can back off, and a 65 versus sound barrier is much easier to win.
All right. I wish we could go back and replay that just to see if they had got the pickoff, how that would have worked out, because the logic is certainly sound. Now we're going to be on to the second point here. Second map, Rogue taking the first one. ANOX fighting to extend us onto a third map. A tough fight here. Rogue are a very powerful team, as you guys can tell. Cypher doing some damage in the back line, landing a lot of shots with that shotgun, and Tavik going to be going down to Rubicon as well. This is looking great here.
It's a good start from ANOX. Even though they lose Tracer early on, they have the charge going right in. It's immediately punished, and ANOX coming out with a bang, going to get the first cap, and they did, just off good, solid mechanical play.
Now, again, we've got to be careful we don't overextend here. They are going to try and see if they can fall back. ANOX taking a lot of damage, and Nox will be the one to get the last hit in on him. Tavik has fallen, though. That was a Tracer versus Reaper battle, and Reaper comes out on top this time. Transcendence out as well. Cypher trying to do all the damage he can. He's building that ultimate. Not that many shots off either. One more hit, and he will have got it, but he doesn't even need it. The rest of ANOX waking up and just dishing out the damage here. Very impressive.
And the problem there for Rogue is that Rogue did invest a sound barrier into that, and I think for them, they probably should have just held on to it, because now going to the next fight, ANOX is going to have a sound barrier of their own, and a Death Blossom, and a Pulse Bomb. Wins has a Graviton, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Rogue could end up spending more resources here for nothing. They have to be careful.
Kenzie just wasted his Pulse Bomb, and now Cypher coming out with a big ult, but he actually just gets 2 kills quick there. Can they do anything to bring it back? They have just reinforced up with the Earth Shatter right now, and I think he just needs to buy time. It's not going to be for very long. He drops as well. ANOX so good at sort of turning the fight back around on Rogue very soon after it starts.
And ANOX are doing a great job of it, and they're managing their ults properly. Cooler still holding on to the sound barrier, doesn't have to use it, almost gets blown up by the Pulse Bomb, but for now, ANOX in a good position. Next fight, they're just going to drop sound barrier, roll right in the Rogue, and hope for the best. And AKM might not get the most value out of this Death Blossom, but here we go.
Well, AKM picking up Kenzie for a good start. Rogue have no percentages right now. They need a little bit more, and it seems like it's finally going to happen. We're just breaking their way through the wall. Wins, in fact, picking up 2 kills, but obviously that Death Blossom really helping out.
Here's the interesting thing, though. ANOX only has to win one more fight. I wonder if that was just strategic by Cooler, where they said, look, we'll just use the sound barrier, the retake. We'll know we'll have the advantage that way. I'm not entirely sure that was a whiff on his part. But here we go. ANOX is going to come back in. They're going to open with the sound barrier and go from there. And they only have to really win one more major fight to take this. Rogue might have overtime possibilities, but it's going to be very, very tight.
They have one more fight to win. They have 5 ultimates right now on ANOX, so you are absolutely right. This is going to be rough. Well, they take down Shriek, so that's a very good start. That's going to delay that Graviton surge a little bit. AKM trying to do a bit more. Second kill coming in on ANOX, and this is just looking a little bit worse right now for ANOX. They need to be careful they don't throw all of this away. Rubicon already used his Transcendence here. They need to remain with the ult advantage.
I'm a little confused as to why they didn't actually use sound barrier to engage that, just because they did have an advantage. Now going into next of it, it's going to be more of an ult showdown where pretty much all the cards for both teams are going to be on the table. Whoever wins the next fight, very likely to win the game, and here we go. Graviton is out, Tavik moving in, bomb follow-through is out, but ANOX still holding on to their ult, so I guess they just want to get as many up as possible and go for that final fight. But I feel like they've been there for a while, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm confused as well, but I must say I'm impressed by Rogue's positional play. They took that fight exactly at the choke point. It couldn't have been any closer. Everybody was grouped up there, so that was very nicely done. Now let's see if ANOX can come back in here. They really need it. There's the AKM Reaper coming out, getting a kill. Tavik as well. They're turning it around Rogue. They're battling for their lives here, and it's just working incredibly well. ANOX, they have 4 ultimates up, but I'm not sure they're going to have enough time to get them there.
I'm not sure either, and I just don't understand why Cooler is not using his ultimate ever. He died super early in that fight, but he should have sound barriered from the back. 98%, 99%, they do get overtime progress. They have to give up a lot of their position here, but here comes a knock in the back line. Good positioning, punches Reaper right in the face, and ANOX coming in at the last moment here to potentially retake this.
This is very impressive. He's chasing Tavik as well. Does pick up a health pack there, so gonna stay alive a little while longer, but he's gonna fall back to his team, and suddenly boots on the other foot, and it's ANOX turning a little bit closer here.
Rogue, they lost that quick enough that they are going to get one last opportunity. They do have an ult advantage, so wins. Can you put your team over the top? The Graviton is coming out here right in the beginning. Sets up for at least one quick kill. Here comes ANOX. Primal Rage in and out, juggling people around, making all sorts of space. A double kill for Winston. What a play, but AKM doing work in the backline in turn.
He's very low on health at the moment right now, and he's going to end up going down. Can they reinforce it quick enough? I'm not sure. The Tracer drops as well. If they turn it, that's going to be it. Rogue will pick up the second point here, and there's just nothing to prevent it from happening. So 1-1 in points on the second map. We're going to go to a third one, obviously. I mean, I don't know. I'm very impressed by that Winston play at the end there coming out of ANOX. That seems like he almost turned it for his team.
It was really good Winston play. You can't always burst people down like that on that hero. You have to have really good judgment in terms of the knockbacks and with the fall through. I'm still a little bit confused as to how ANOX did that. At first I was assuming there was some sort of grander plan in action, but I just feel like he was being way too greedy at the sound barrier, just should have used it earlier, called it out, and gone for a better engage, because really for how long he had it, he probably could have built up a second sound barrier, so.
Especially because the first time you mentioned that you wish they had re-engaged where Cooler would use sound barrier, they had the Transcendence too, so they could have used one of them to do the engagement, and then as the fight sort of progresses, they could have used obviously used Transcendence afterwards. So yeah, I agree.
Alrighty, well, next round is underway. 1-1 right now between these two teams. Tavik, though, opening up with a bang, takes down Kenzie. It's already 65, and Kenzie, with how much work he's been doing on Tracer, that is not an insignificant pick.
Cypher on the Genji, looking forward to that. He did get a good dashing. Could he do it again, maybe to get some of those assists in and just try and go for like a reset chain? And not going to be this time, and in fact, Rubicon going down. Maybe not the best start. Tavik playing Hanzo on control point. That's definitely brave, and maybe it'll work out. Slept Monkey in the corner, and Tavik looking for the arrows mid-air. Not going to happen, but it doesn't really matter. Rogue still have the point.
It was a good opening by Rogue. Anytime you take out a huge threat like an enemy Tracer in the first 2 seconds of an engagement, it works out pretty darn well. And Tavik right now going to look for an extra opportunity here. Has Dragon Strike at the range. This is one of the better areas to drop a Dragon as they go through that poke. And Tavik knows that he's going to throw it out. Will the Dragon be sated? Is not, but still does some damage.
Great split arrow. Look at the damage being output there to Sharik. He almost just died immediately, or ANOX, I think it was. AKM going to be falling back here. Hasn't got the flashbang just yet, but doesn't really matter. Getting a little bit of help, and Cooler's going to be down and out, and Rogue, just the positional play again is so good right now. They know exactly where they need to hold ANOX back here. This is going to be tricky.
It's going to be tricky indeed. Cypher, though, he has had some big Dragon Blade plays. Sharik has the Graviton, and they're moving in. Wombo Combo might be on the menu. Kenzie moving in, takes out AKM. The rest of ANOX is in. Rogue has to blow the sound barrier, but they are still getting pushed back. They're not getting any kills off this. They're just trying to stay alive, and it is not working.
Kenzie going down to Veeks. Hanzo is so powerful right now. Finally, he's going to fall, but he's just done so much already. They are going to flip the point, so it stops at 62% for Rogue. Still got to be considered a pretty good run, and the ults, they're pretty close, Rogue. They're not that far behind.
Rogue is in a good shape for turning this right back. Wins does have the Graviton Ray, but look at Cypher just in the back. Dash reset after dash reset. All sorts of swift strike damage being done. Sharik is going to get the cleanup, and ANOX going to hold on. Rogue, though, they have a bit of a buffer. Really, all they have to do to win this game is take 2 more major team fights, and they have about maybe 6 fights to do that. So that's pretty good odds for Rogue, I would say.
Absolutely, and especially wins on that Saria with the Graviton Surge could set up for a nice fight for them if they could get it done. Trying for a bit of a bomb there, Kenzie, but not quite getting enough out of it. And now Rogue are on the point with a lot of members. They have to go in and contest it. Cypher coming out with the Dragon Blade. He's going to get the 1 kill in, looking for more. But on the other side, Rogue are just doing so much. Tavik and AKM dealing out the damage for the moment. And now Cypher's out of ultimate, and he's going to be thrown dead off the map.
That body will be hitting the floor in just a moment, and that's a big counter punch here by Rogue. And all they have to do, they win one more fight, they're going to win the round and be that much closer to sending ANOX to the lower bracket. We'll see what Tavik has in store here, looking for that scatter arrow. What positioning, simple geometry. Doesn't get killed, but man, did it do a lot of damage.
And he keeps doing that, building up the ult as well. He's not quite there, and actually that's a big fight for ANOX. Taking out almost all of Rogue right now. They're going to be able to counter cap it and stop it at 95%. So literally just one more fight his CP, and Rogue are going to be just a little step closer.
And Rogue is much closer to the game-defining ultimates. They're about to have a nano boost up. Nox is really close to a sound barrier. ANOX is going to have to get early picks here. Several fights in a row if they want to hold this. But hey, Kenzie taking out AKM. That is a good start.
Very nicely done. That sort of forces Rogue just to wait a little bit longer here. Has anyone ever ventured into the madness of nano boosting a Hanzo?
Nano boosted Hanzo, I'm not sure I've seen it in comp play, but that would be something. I would trust Tavik with it, if nothing else. But here comes Rogue, moving out once more. They're going to drop the piece. Sound Barrier's out, getting answered by the Transcends. Zenyatta learning how to fly from that Reinhardt charge. But you look at ANOX, they back out. They're not falling to the sound barrier. And here comes nano boosted McCree. Gets 1 kill, but now is in trouble. Cypher in hot pursuit. And ANOX getting the kills they need to get here. Now it's Rogue on the hot seat. They don't have time to wait for 6 Anders. And if they can't get on here, it's going to be ANOX up 2-1.
Well, Cypher there with the Dragon Blade. He's going to pick up 1 kill. Shuriq as well. Cypher with a double, looking for more. Just dashing all the time. And that's going to be it. ANOX able to pick it up and putting us on to another point here. I mean, that's impressive.
ANOX coming in strong. And again, you look at Overwatch overall, any teams with Quake players on it, they've always been just a little bit better at these control point maps, and very comfortable on it. And you're kind of seeing why right now against the Rogue, where Rogue, they're no slouch in terms of raw mechanical skill, but they are getting all they can handle and more from this ANOX team, and they're 1 round away from the series being tied 1-1.
Let's see if they can continue at this point. I feel like if anyone's going to be able to shut down some of these Quake players, I mean, AK has been doing such a good job on that McCree. I love to see that again. I mean, not a bad counter either to the Genji.
Not only the Genji, but it also makes Tracer's life pretty rough. Tracer can win one-on-ones against McCree, but she has to divert all her attention to that McCree. If she ignores him for a moment, she's going to go down. So AKM, lots of work that he's doing here, but Tavik going to die early on this fight as ANOX bringing it right back. Cypher moving in.
Just getting such a quick double kill and trying to pick up a little bit more. It's Alec and Kenzie going down. They may have just taken that fight a little bit too far. Cypher going to be falling back in. That point is now unlocked, and ANOX looking to cap it very early on here while still fighting Rogue. This is an ongoing battle at this point in time, and I wonder if they did overextend there.
I think they did overextend. That is a danger here on this map. You just want to take your win and not throw it away, but they might have done that as you see Rogue coming right back in. Still though, Kenzie's still up and around. Just built up a pulse bomb. One explosion could turn this in their favor. The explosion does come out, does a lot of damage to reinforce, but his support is there and wins, racking up the kills as Cypher gets knocked right to the wall, but does get saved at the end.
And Cypher even built his ultimate through that, but there's obviously no point in using it if you're on 13 health, so it will be Rogue to turn it in their favor, and ANOX learning just a valuable lesson there in not overextending, but I think it is tempting. I can understand the temptation, especially because you would do it much more maybe on some of the payload maps.
You absolutely would. Here comes AKM, Deadeye at the ready, Skull's coming up, gets at least one, and ANOX in the back. Here comes Rogue moving forward. AKM in the cleanup, fans right into his face, gets the triple kill. This is the legendary McCree cleanup.
Beautiful. He actually ran right through him with that flashbang. He's going for more. Not going to be able to get Tracer this time, but still getting the body shots in, and just so much damage being output here. AKM absolutely hunting them. It looked like it could have been a fight now. They have Kenzie and ANOX right now with ults on the one team, but Rogue, I think, just have the better ults right now.
They do, and I think the other thing too is that ACAM is doing a great job of containing both Kenzie and Cypher. He's not even always the one getting the direct kills, but he's applying so much pressure to them when they try to get in. Here we go, the Graviton switch coming up. Tavik moving in, bomb is out and takes out 3. Great mobility there from Tavik to follow up on that, and Kenzie says, no, I'm hopping off, I'm not giving you extra ult charge, we're gonna reset.
Yeah, ANOX too, suffering the same fate there. Tavik even jumping off the bridge and then using the backtrack to get up there again. So really quite impressive style. Up to 70% uncontested here for Rogue.
It is high noon, says ACAM, but he's going to get hit by the sleep dart. Going to get absolutely nothing off that Deadeye. Reinforce, though, still able to kill Kenzie as ACAM, lots of space, rolls right into ANOX. 4 kills from Rogue, and Rogue now in a great position to hold this as ANOX is going to have maybe one last fight left to put in overtime, but they have to hurry, and it's going to set up Reinforce for a great Earth Shatter.
Gotta say, I mean, AKM's team is making his job much easier just by how good they're playing defensively in front of him here. He is being pretty active, but they're really putting up a nice wall around him, trying to see if they can make it happen. The Nano Booster coming out now on the McCree. Sound barrier as well, just to buy some more time for him. Reinforce taking out Cypher, and this might be the final fight here for ANOX. See if they can keep the dream alive. Kenzie going down, and Cooler to follow as well. It's just too much between Tavik and AKM. They seems like they can't be stopped, and that's going to be it. Rogue will pick up another point, and we're going to continue.
This is going to be a close series. Just this map alone has gone on a long time, but round number 5 coming right up. The team that's going to win this map will be decided in a moment. Will be Rogue advancing for a quick 2-0, or will ANOX be able to force the map 3?
How do they stop that McCree? How do they make it so that he at least can't stand and get that many shots off unopposed?
I think they just got to make it more of a priority. I think the ideal scenario would be they run the Winston Genji and roll it right into him. But Cypher, given that we're going back to the Sanctum phase here, is going the Reaper. And also, McCree doesn't have quite as much luck on this particular stage anyways. And that's why ACAM isn't even going to Beyond the McCree here. He's going Reaper. So kind of bad RNG here for Rogue because it didn't have to be the Sanctum stage. That's the 5th.
Yeah. ANOX certainly were good at it earlier. We'll see if they can get a quick cap in here. Probably going to boost their confidence quite a bit. They're down a map, so they need this, or they won't be able to move on immediately. Sharik going to be charging on in. His shield charge is slowly going down once again. It didn't go that high, and he's going to end up falling to AKM, who's still alive and doing damage. So we can Vince coming with 2 big kills right now. ANOX, they're bleeding players at the moment, and they have to fall back.
They're going to fall back. It's going to be first cap here to Rogue, and Rogue coming out a bit stronger right now on the Sanctum stage. Tavik, though, overdiving just a little bit, but doesn't matter. Space has been created. ACAM moving in. Gonna have to back out, but at the very least, that evens out the pickoffs there, letting Rogue get a real chance to re-establish their defense.
Yeah, aggressive, but not too aggressive, so we'll see how that's going to be working out for them. Bomb landing on Wins. Not going to be part of that round any longer. ANOX going down to AKM, and can they bring it back here, ANOX? They got the players on right now. AKM coming in. He's got the ult up as well. He's going to get the 1 kill in, still doing more damage, burning through the shield. AKM picking up a 3rd kill. And what a comeback. They let go of the point just long enough that ANOX felt like, all right, we can kind of get on here and swarm on it, and then they just countered in with the ultimate.
Rogue's been doing that all series long, where just when you think the chips are down, just when you think they're in a rough spot, they find the right opportunity, the speed boost in, and get the right play. But next fight is about to enter away. Rubicon's going to open this up with Transcendence. Sharik might get ground time later on. Rogue has to be careful. They're going to have to blow their sound barrier and look for the counter engage, and they're doing just that.
Oh, Transcendence out on top of everything. Some great kills for ANOX right now. Even AKM going to be going down at any time that happens. You've got to feel like you are doing something right. Trying to chase down Tavik, and even Cypher will find him, so a little bit better this time. They have the point. It only went to 50%. It seemed like it was a long time, but I mean, this is within the margin of error, I feel like, for ANOX.
It absolutely is, and let's take a look at Cypher. He does have Death Blossom at the ready. He's not in a sneaky position, though. I think they're just going to try and speed boost him in. Cooler also close to that all-important sound barrier. If they can get the sound barrier up, it might be Cypher's time to go in just what he has. He's moving right in. Death Blossom out. Doesn't get what he's looking for, really. Does some damage. ACAM takes him out. 2 kills, though, for the side of ANOX as the Graviton from Rogue comes in. Tavik tries to combo it, but it's not as effective as he would like.
So a little bit of a reset here, and how are the ultimates looking? They've got ANOX on that Winston ult. I would say previously, before we watched this point, I would have said maybe not the best, but he did do a terrific job in those narrow hallways, so I don't want to completely discount it, but the fact is, Unco has the nano boost on the other team, and that might be a really big difference maker.
The nano boost will be a difference maker in this fight if they play it properly. Here we go, AKM coming in, Nano boost out. Death Blossom in once more. How many times must we see this? It's a double for AKM, and he's not content. He's not sated. Zenyatta going to go down. A triple for AKM, opening things up once more for Rogue.
Very, very good job. Looks like they are going to be able to cap it back. I don't see anyone from ANOX giving their life to prevent this from happening. They're going to have to fall back and wait for it. They have 2 ults and another 2 that aren't that far away. They could be setting up for a big team fight. I sort of wish they would wait for Sharik here to really go for it.
ANOX has about 2 more fights left in them, but with ANOX going down immediately, they might be down to just 1 here, Anders. That was a big pickup coming in from Wins and AKM. And AKM down to 25 HP at one point, having to back out.
I mean, with those kind of picks, Rogue are sort of just making sure that the team fights don't even become team fights and just leaves ANOX waiting in the back line. Transcendence is up on Rubicon. Sharik, he's so close, but here it comes again. AKM with the nano boost. Shotguns coming through. He doesn't have the ultimate yet, but it builds so quick when you have the nano boost. He's just 1 more hit away from having it. Great form at the moment. He's going to pop it immediately. And that's incredible. Doesn't work out. He will be going down, but that's really bold.
Both Reapers spinning into each other. Cypher getting a little bit more, but Rogue still in a great position right now. They're at 99%. This is do or die for ANOX. They must retake this point or they are going to be out of the series. All hands are on deck. Graviton coming out here from Sharik. Here comes the pulse bomb from Tavik, though, from the backline, takes out Sharik. It is back and forth right now. Both teams fighting tooth and nail. This is the series right now for ANOX, though, so they must prevail, or Rogue is going to take this.
AKM Raid form on 22 health, trying to see if he can get into a health pack somewhere. Wins, just trying to stay alive, but ANOX there. Oh, what a great sound barrier coming out from ANOX. That might actually make a massive difference. Trying to see if they can stay alive. Cooler getting targeted a little bit. Cypher is gone down. Tavik is out as well. And it looks like they're turning it back around, and ult comes through and they can't stop it. And what a fitting way to end it. AKM just cleaning up right at the end with that Death Blossom, like he has all series long. Rogue are going to take it 2-0, but they had to fight for it.
Of course it ends with AKM spinning into the other team. That is what we saw all series long. And when you look at those plays from AKM, it's not just AKM doing it. Sure, he has to guide the Reaper, he has to find the right position, and he needs to hit the shots. But it's great coordination for the Ana to be right there with the support, for the Lucio the speed boost, and when that happens. Rogue showing that they're a cut above, but ANOX not looking too shabby either.
Definitely not, and I mean, if they are able to broaden their map pool so that they are more adept at playing some of the other map types that aren't just control point, but like the payload, it'd be very interesting to see this team. You can kind of tell they have a sort of a depth of quality here that they can really work on. It's fun to watch, I think.
Definitely. So, Rogue walking out, looking confident, reinforce, of course. Oh no, he's so much taller than everyone.
Yeah, you thought that picture before was like a Photoshop or something, but it really wasn't. That's just how it is. Johnny, definitely impressive. I've known him for quite a while as well. The other guys were saying he's sort of like an industry insider, and it's not wrong. Yeah, I've been working with James Toogood and everything for a while.
He goes way back in esports, just in general. I remember one of the first things I casted was tournament put on by Toogood, and the person I had to talk to the cast was Reinforce. Reinforce was like, yeah, you've cast a few tournaments, it seems okay. Go ahead and cast this.
Well, now he's here and playing, and they were doing remarkably well, and we expect that they will prevail for quite a long time. We'll be back with a breakdown right after this break.
Welcome back to the Overwatch Open. That was ANOX and Rogue that just faced down right there. And wow, for a matchup that we weren't too sure about, you guys definitely called the victory condition because Rogue came out with a 2-0. What did you think, Huck?
Well, AKM was very consistent in Gamescom, and he continued his streak here. He was probably the best player, I would say, in those games.
AKM's a superstar, man. I mean, you know, this kid's got it all. He's got the talent. He's got the team to back him up. I could see Rogue going very far in this competition.
All right, anything else you guys want to say to flatter him before we throw to Malik and AKM up in the
didn't
coop?
even know.
He's so handsome.
Oh
Look
my
how
God.
handsome
no,
he
he's
is.
looking at us. Look away.
Oh, God. I'm so scared.
How are you feeling about Goldenboy's advances at you right now?
Amazing, I guess.
So I was talking to Reinforce earlier, and he was saying you guys were feeling very confident going into this tournament. But you guys didn't win that match as decisively as many might have thought you would have. How do you feel that match went?
Well, it went good, but like we're lacking a lot of. We're doing so many mistakes because we're actually tired. So it's a mistake we usually don't do. But we actually managed to surpass that and win it.
Right, I figure you guys were a little bit sleepy because of all the travel and stuff, and it looked like you were missing a lot of shots, and it didn't seem like the Rogue that I'm used to seeing. How much sleep did you get?
2 hours.
Oh, geez, two hours of sleep, 2 hours of sleep. All right. Now, a lot of people don't know this about you, but you actually play with your brother. Wins is your brother, your blood brother. How is it traveling and being able to play with your brother?
It's always nice. Well, sometimes we have confrontation because we're brothers, but it's always nice playing with his brother and being around him all the time.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, all right, so next match. You have Luminosity, you have Misfits. Which team would you rather see?
Well, we have to beat everyone to win a tournament anyway, so...
He said, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter which team it is. All right, man, you go get some rest, all right? And Rogue's moving on to the next round. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks so much, Malik. I actually said during the Lijiang matches that Tavik and AKM, between the two of them, it's like that scene in Lord of the Rings where Gimli and Legolas are taking turns like, oh, I killed 6 people. Well, I killed 7. Like, it was just in the kill feed, streak after streak between the two of them. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about King's Row here and how Rogue did. Goldenboy, you want to start us off?
I mean, you talked about that moment in Lord of the Rings, right? I mean, this certainly was very much the AKM and Tivik show. But, you know, I also want to highlight the Hanzo play that we saw in this map. It was really refreshing to see. Most importantly as well, you know, toward the end of this one, you started to see more Hanzo come into play, especially in this particular phase, the final phase. It reinforced, though, great aggression on his side. That's what I love to see from a Reinhardt player, getting in the face and really allowing his teammates, the DPS players, to be able to make those plays.
Yeah, and I think on ANOX side, Cypher did a pretty good job. He was on Reaper most of the time. I feel like he held them back more than he should have. At the same time, they needed adjustments. We saw that Hanzo you spoke of. He was never confronted at all. He was always just in the back, unleashing arrows, and I feel like at some point you got to make a switch and say like, all right, we need a Genji, we need a Winston, we need something to, you know, contest that back line, because you can't just let him keep shooting arrows at you all day long from a distance. It's just not going to work.
But what's so interesting about that, though, is, you know, you look at what this team, what ANOX tried to prioritize. They were like, I don't even know if we can deal with Tivik on the Hanzo right now. We just got to deal with literally everything else, because you have Tank Buster AKM coming through and just shellacking you all over the place. I mean, there's not much you could do at that point. Sure, you could have had options. Cypher could have switched out of Mei and went to go play Genji and tried to get in the face of Tivik, but then you had to deal with AKM, and that's what Mei was there for. So really, just impressive from Rogue.
Spearheading on a Hanzo. It looks like a very well-oiled machine on the first map. But I think a huge part of that is, as you said, Huck, no one contested that Hanzo. He fired off so many ultimates right into the thick of things and was just ultimately left alone. So I hope, you know, you guys feel that things changed up a little bit on Lijiang, because this is where ANOX really started to shine. You know, they came very, very close to taking this series. And you know what? Huck, tell me why they didn't.
Well, it was interesting to see for sure. We had a Genji. Cypher did a great job on the Genji, and on the opposite side, we did see a lot of that Hanzo coming out to in effect for Tavik. And it's always nice to see that combination. You know, we talked about brothers, those two being brothers and just how they play into each other. But there was a lot of weird things that happened because we did have that Reinhardt from Rogue. And I feel like the more normal King of the Hill, more standard traditional compositions that they did play, the better that they did. As soon as they dropped that Hanzo, as soon as they dropped, you know, doing those weird things, they all of a sudden were doing a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, and this one as well, it was nice to see ANOX fight back into this. Of course, AKM and Tivik continued their reign of terror on everyone else. But despite that, though, Cypher had some big moments as Genji got to see him get into the back lines, caused some problems as well. Shark as well, Shark and ANOX working together as the best they can to just try and dive in and get in their face. And really provide those opportunities for Cypher to move in there, do exactly what he's doing right now, hit those Dragon Blades. But when it really boiled down to it, though, you just had some great, solid Overwatch played by Rogue, and they just could not find an answer, although it went to the wire.
Yeah, I want to give a lot of credit to Unko, actually. I know a lot of supports don't get the love that they deserve, but Unko, if you watch that bar, that ultimate percentage bar at the top right, he was constantly, it would just go from 11 to 44%, 50% in the matter of a second. And he's known as one of the better Zens. Now switching to Ana, as we saw, it got more and more popular over time. And, you know, that's where, you know, Cypher did have a good game, but he could have done even more on that young Genji if it wasn't for Unko keeping his teammates up.
Yeah, brilliant work indeed.
All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you for that information. Guys, we're going to go to a short break. When we come back, it's going to be Misfits versus Luminosity. Both of those teams fighting for the right to stay in the winner's bracket. Certainly the easier way to move through this tournament, but any team that loses is not out yet. We have still a long way to go in Group B for EU. So many teams left to see play and so much action. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Die.